I've been practicing law for 36 years, and what you just said to me has no meaning to me whatsoever. Sit down.
Do I have the same rights?
You want me to hold you in contempt? Sit down. In that blue chair.
Do I have the
Sit down!
There?
All right, Mr. Williams, what do you want to do, though? Because we're not going to have a question and answer service. I've been on the docket for a while. If you do want to, you can come back at 1:30, and I'll be more than happy to continue this educational opportunity.
If you run my name, you will see that I surrendered my state ID and I have a passport, right? I have no contracts with the Secretary of State whatsoever, so.
Take a seat
I have a question.
in this blue chair.
Do I have the
Sit down.
Do I have the same rights?
You want me to hold you in contempt? Sit down. In that blue chair.
Do I have the
Sit down!
There?
One more time. Sit down. You are charged with one count of no operator's license, a minor misdemeanor subject to a maximum fine of $150 plus court costs. You also are charged with one count of expired plates, also a minor misdemeanor subject to a maximum fine of $150 in court costs.
I am the authorized agent to the decedent estate. I am coming in here as the settler, and I want to settle this case.
I will enter no plea on your behalf to these charges. I've given you 3 plea options to plead.
No,
what you
I do not recognize anyone in this court.
Okay, well,
I
that's
don't
too
recognize
bad.
you or the bailiff or anybody else in this court. Then I'm just going to surrender the person to the court because I'm not coming back.
I don't know what that means.
You do know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
I am not the ens legis, non de guerre.
I've been practicing law for 36 years, and what you've just said to me has no meaning to me whatsoever. So let me say it one last time, because we have other cases to handle today. If you don't leave the courtroom and go to the clerk's window and give a trial date, which is what I'm scheduling in this case, I will hold you in contempt of court and I'll have you arrested. You either go to the clerk's window now and get a trial date, or I'll have you taken into custody now. You got it? Court is now on the record in City of Conneaut versus Amber McHenry, 24 TRD 819. Ms. McHenry entered no plea to charges of no operator's license and expired plates, each of which is a minor misdemeanor, on December 17th, 2024. I scheduled it for a bench trial for January 8th of 2025. Ms. McHenry was given notice of that bench trial. I have a signed receipt in the file showing she got notice of that bench trial. Present on January 8th, 2025 was the law director along with a police officer. Ms. McHenry failed to appear. As a result of her failure to appear, I issued a warrant for her arrest. That was January 8th. It's now over a month later, February 11th, and Ms. McHenry is now turning herself in on the warrant. She's in the courtroom, and she is without an attorney. Ms. McHenry, why were you not here on January 8th of 2025?
I have a question about the case.
Ms. McHenry, sit down. This is not your courtroom. Sit in that chair.
I have a question about the case. That's not the case number that I had.
Yes, it is, Ms. McHenry. You've got other cases pending that are set for jury trial.
The original case number that I had was like TDR, like 0800 something. And
24 TRD 819.
819. Okay. I was just double checking on the case number. Can you repeat your question then? No.
Why were you not here on January 8th?
I put in an appearance and it was rejected and struck from the record, and I was sent a letter saying that I am not who I said I was. So I have a question about that because I don't understand.
This is not a discussion here. This is not a conversation. I ask a question, you respond to my question. Now, this is typical behavior for you because you're a sovereign citizen. At least you claim to be.
I've never claimed that.
Well, your documentation that you filed, including the one you filed today that did not have a correct caption or case number on it, is indicative of that. So let me ask you, Ms. McHenry, again, why were you not physically, personally present in the courtroom on January 8th, 2025 for your trial?
I need the oath and bonds to be put for each person acting as a public official in this case who is acting as a public servant to be put on the record. And I also require the indemnity bond, and I'm going to require the other bonds. I need the accounting. Please, for the record, let it be known that you exited.
I
while
did.
asking.
I exited the courtroom and asked a police officer, probation
Who has
officer.
the indemnity bond?
Uh,
Where's the bill of particulars?
The
Because
bond
I
is
did not
being,
receive it.
the warrant is being executed. You're being taken into custody. Take her down to the jail now.
I was not given the warrant.
Take her down to
either.
the jail now.
Why am I being arrested?
Take her down
For
to the
what?
jail.
What crime have I committed? Get off me. This is kidnapping. This is a false arrest.
Stop fighting.
No, this is a false arrest.
Down, just... Okay, relax.
This is kidnapping. They're violating my rights, my constitutional rights. I put in...
I thought the Constitution didn't apply to you.
The Constitution applies to every living man and woman.
Yeah.
You are violating your oath, Mr. Iarochi.
Well, hello everybody. How you doing? So I went to court today for a bench warrant to deal with a bench warrant that was put out for me, allegedly because I didn't make an appearance in court, but I did turn my paperwork in for that. You're allowed to turn in paperwork. You don't have to physically go to court. Paperwork is the same thing as making an appearance. However, they struck it from the record that I made my appearance. They struck the recusal of the judge from the record, and on top of that, they sent me a letter and they stated that I wasn't who I said I was, that I am who they say I am, which when I asked questions about that, the judge yelled at me and told me he didn't have to answer any of my questions. And then when I asked for the bill of particulars and the indemnity bond, I was arrested and taken into custody and held against my will. And so that's a false arrest. But not only was that a false arrest because it's all based on fraud in the first place, but secondly, they didn't read me my rights. I wasn't read my rights by the judge in the court, and I also wasn't read my rights when I was arrested. Also, they did not tell me what my charges were. So there's that. I can't wait to get the paperwork where they tell me what they're charging me with. So this is all because of the right to travel. Okay? It's all based on the right to travel freely, unencumbered, and unfettered according to the Constitution. Now, I'm going to pull up some stuff for you because people need to know what the truth is, and they're not going to really know unless I actually physically show them, because you guys, you're not going to do the research, right? You don't really care. You're just going to tell me I'm crazy and nothing that I say makes sense. You can replay all of this later because it's alive now, but they hold it up for 30 days, and you can write down all of these things if you want to. There's benchmark cases that all deal with all of this stuff, but we'll start with Ohio Revised Code. I was threatened with retaliation for threatened and retaliated against. They were trying to coerce me into basically doing business with the state of Ohio, which I don't have anything to do with. I'm not a state of Ohio resident, okay? Under section 2905, hold on, let me flip this around. Ohio laws and administrative rules, section 2905.12, coercion. No person with purpose to coerce another into taking or refraining from action concerning which the other person has legal freedom of choice shall do the following: threaten to commit any offense, utter or threaten any calumny against any person, expose or threaten to expose any matter tending to subject any person, or hatred, or contempt, or ridicule, or damage any person's personal or business repute, or to impair any person's credit. Institute or threaten criminal proceedings against any person. Take, withhold, or threaten to take, withhold official action, or cause to threaten to cause official action to be taken or withheld. Okay, so anyways, you guys can read all of that. That's the section you need. Because that's what happened to me. I am a non-resident alien, according to 5301.254. Okay? You are a non-resident alien, unless you are a U.S. citizen, but I'll get to that in a minute. You have the right to the bill of particulars of your case, which I asked for, and they did not give me. And when I asked for it today, and for the indemnity bond, I was arrested. This is the location of the debtor. This is UCC. Do you know who the debtor is? I do. Hold on. It's this. The United States is located in the District of Columbia. They are the debtor. Any foreign bank registered and licensed by a state, which would be all banks, all courts are banks. The United States business. It's a corporation, a partnership. Also, the United States citizen is a corporation or a partnership with the District of Columbia. That's 15 U.S.C. 4724E. Here you go. 18 U.S.C. 911, citizen of the United States. If you claim willfully and falsely and represent yourself as a citizen of the United States, you are going to be fined and imprisoned, or both. You can only be a citizen of the United States if you are a public servant dealing with the law, so governors, senators, judges, cops. They're all United States citizens. You are not. Under Ohio Revised Code 4507.04, non-resident exemption. Non-residents are permitted to drive upon the highways of their own state without, right here, without. Bam. Wake up. Here you go. So not only do you not have to have a license, according to 28 CFR 29.10, owner withdrawal from the program. Owner withdrawal from the program. The owner may withdraw from the program. This is for a registration. So you do not have to register your car if you are not engaged in commerce under common law. You don't have to. You can withdraw from the program at any time. It's voluntarily. You have to remove the decal and change the license plate. You cannot have a Ohio State license plate. You have to have your own personal, private license plate. You should go through the Department of Transportation, or you can get your own whatever, or just not even have a plate at all. Just remove it completely. Everybody needs to be doing this. We all need to recognize this. The more people who do this and realize what their rights are, the more rights you have. Right now I'm fighting by myself. Everybody else doesn't have the guts or the balls to do it. I don't know what to tell you. It's not my fault or problem. Here you go. other things related to the case. Take a screenshot of this. These are the laws, codes, statutes, regulations, case law. I also have the constitutional law in here. But they're doing all of these things unlawfully. Look at that, look at that. Right here. Citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of citizens of the several states, ensuring equal treatment of travelers. You are not a driver, you are a traveler. Affidavit of truth. Affirmation of rights. All of this. Take screenshots. Look these up for yourself. Find it out. This is me doing a public service announcement for all of you. So now more people can start doing it. We need to take down Admiral Maritime Law. It's the law of the dead. I'm not dead, are you? This is my public service announcement for you. I was arrested. My friend was there with me. Her and her friend were with me. They witnessed it. Everybody that was there witnessed it. Say hi, Erica.
No, I look like crap.
But I have witnesses, which they'll be subpoenaed eventually, and they'll be able to confirm that my rights were violated. They didn't read me my rights. They didn't tell me my charges. It's called robbery ashore. It's called piracy. Because they're in Admiral Maritime, and I'm common law. They're pirates. And committing treason. So there's that. So, just an FYI, the government's not your friend, and they're not here for you. You have to know your rights, and you have to exercise them. I'm still learning the policy and procedure part of it, but I know the law.
Okay, the court is on the record in City of Conneaut versus Amber R. McHenry, case number 24 TRD 527. Court is in receipt of a pretrial report. Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, Your Honor. We may have a resolution of the matter, should the court be willing to accept it, whereby the city would dismiss the fictitious plate charge at defendant's cost, and Ms. McHenry would then enter plea of guilty to the two remaining charges of failure to reinstate drive member suspension and expired plates. The city would then recommend whatever fines the court would deem appropriate along with the court costs of the case. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sayage.
Thank you, Your Honor. I did convey the offer from Law Director Lewis to my client, Ms. McHenry, after extensive talks and going over what she would be waiving today. She has decided today that she would take the plea offer along with the state's recommendation of just court costs and fines.
Okay, Ms. McHenry, it's my understanding today that you wish to change, you originally entered no plea to charges of failure to reinstate an unclassified misdemeanor and expired plates, a minor misdemeanor. You wish to enter guilty pleas to those two charges. In exchange for those guilty pleas, the fourth-degree misdemeanor charge of fictitious plates would be dismissed at your cost. Is that what you would like to see happen today?
I believe so.
You understand by pleading guilty to those charges that you would be waiving your right to the jury trial that is currently scheduled at the end of the month, as well as all of your trial rights. We just had a trial last week, so you kind of know what a trial is like. So by pleading guilty to these two charges, you'd be waiving all of those trial rights. Is that what you wish to do?
Would that put an end to litigation?
Yes, it would.
I mean, no.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay. Also, you are represented by Mr. Sayage. Have you had sufficient time to consult with him, and are you satisfied with his counsel?
Yes.
Okay. I do find that defendant's pleas of guilty to these minor and unclassified misdemeanor offenses in subcase A and B, failure to reinstate and expired plates, to be knowing voluntary, and intelligent. The court will accept the guilty pleas to those 2 charges, and I will therefore find her guilty of those offenses. I will dismiss at the defendant's cost the fictitious plates charge in some case. So Ms. McHenry, I did not impose community work service. I could have. I did not impose a Class 7 license suspension. I could have on the failure to reinstate charge. I've just given you a fine and cost, although I'm ordering you to provide proof of insurance on the vehicle you're driving that day. If you're not able to provide to the clerk proof of insurance on the vehicle you're driving that day, you are subject to what we call a non-compliance suspension with the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. I guess what I'm saying, Ms. Kennery, I could have sentenced you in a much more severe way. I did not. But understand that if you're back here with similar offenses and you're found guilty of those, I will impose those. What I didn't do today, I would do at a later time.
I'm gonna just call his case numbers. This is now the matter of the people versus Timothy Talley Williams. This is ticket SP 1283888, count 1, 2, and 3. Ticket SP 1409982, counts 1 and 2. Ticket number SP 1409983, count 1. Ticket SP 1411.
Oh, my bad.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. SP 1411848, counts 1, 2, and 3. Ticket SP 1418401, counts 1, 2, and 3. Ticket SP 1466801, count 1, 2, and 3. Ticket SP 1452301, count 1, 2, and 3. Ticket SP 1467130, count 1. Ticket number SX 2454328, counts 1 and 2, and ticket number SP 1283889, expired plates. Appearances for the record, starting with counsel, please.
Judge, this is Attorney Herman Griffin. I did speak with the defendant. I did talk to him, went over his rights. However, he indicated to me that he wants to move forward without the assistance of counsel. So I just want to make sure that's in the record. And I'm going to go talk to Mr. Wallace.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Is that true, Mr. Williams? You want to move forward without counsel at this time?
Correct.
You know you have the absolute right to have counsel, especially with misdemeanors in these particular matters. But at this point in time, you want to move forward on your own, Mr. Williams?
I do.
Okay. Mr. Williams, how would you like to proceed? Do you want to have a bench trial, a jury trial, or do you want to try and resolve these matters?
I'm trying to resolve them today. And I have a couple of questions before you move forward.
Well, we'll see if I can answer them because I can't give you counsel because I'm not an attorney. I'm not practicing as an attorney. Okay. What's up, Mr. Williams?
All right, but so before you move any further, what jurisdiction is the court under? Is it civil or criminal?
This is traffic kind of acts like a hybrid. So we are it's criminal because it's misdemeanor. So with it carries the underline that you can have like jail time and fines. Usually with civil, it's just going to be fines and it's not going to be the opportunity to have jail time. And that's why you have the ability to be able to have counsel appointed to you because you get the rights kick in, right? You can have a jury trial. You can have a trial by a juror. So we're under the jurisdiction of, I would say, more criminal matters for these.
Okay, so in the Constitution grants 2 jurisdictions. That's one under the common law and the other under Constitution under the condition of contract criminal aspects of a colorable amnesty jurisdiction. So this is under the misdemeanor state ordinances. As well as was not state ordinances, the misdemeanor crimes under the state law, as well as under the city ordinance violations.
that these fall under. So each city is, in order to govern itself, you have the absolute power of the United States of America. After you have the absolute power of the United States of America, what they've done is they've divvied up the opportunity for states to control their own entities as long as they don't interfere with the federal stuff. So they can be more stringent than the federal laws, but they can't be any less stringent than the federal laws. And the same trickles down in the state. So then you have the state government, and then you have city government laws, which allow the opportunity for them to create ordinances and rules to be followed by those individual states. So that's how we kind of operate. And so we are able to function and operate as a city if you avail yourself to the operations of a city or a state.
I didn't get that.
I know. So we're operating under the state law, city ordinances, and state ordinance by state misdemeanor violations.
So it's colorable admiralty jurisdiction through contracts.
So that's archaic law, and what I mean by that is that that's although we use those terms, those Latin derivatives during law school, the actual practice is known as state has the ability to govern its people, and the city has further governance over its people to be able to make sure that rule and order is continued and followed within the state guidelines. All right, Mr. Williams, what do you want to do, though? Because we're not going to have a question and answer service. I've been on the docket for a while. If you do want to, you can come back at 1:30, and I'll be more than happy to continue this educational opportunity.
But no, I want a motion to dismiss for failure to.
Okay. All right. So that's not going to be granted, and that's not the correct order to do it. So if you wanted to file something like this, you could be able to file it and make the legal arguments appropriate for these matters, but you would have to state some type of legal reasoning as to why. And jurisdiction is not a legal reason. Well, it's a legal reasoning, but you can write that and see how you can find the laws that are current to our state constitution, as well as the constitution of the city of Detroit, and the rules and opportunities to be able to follow that. So if you would like to file a motion, you can have a motion date and time to be able to file that. I'm not going to dismiss them today, though.
So why can't I get dismissed today?
Because these are ordinances that you are to follow within the city. There are rules that we follow as human beings in the United States of America, especially under the city of, you are a resident of the state of Michigan and the city of Detroit.
But under what contract? Under common law or?
It's not a contract. You know, these are not contracts. Okay.
So these
are just regular rules. So you listen, Mr. Williams, you can either handle these matters or they'll just go back into default and be in default, as well as they'll be under warrant status. Listen, I know you are trying to handle them, but you want them dismissed. They are rules that you have to follow as a citizen of the United States of America, more importantly, as the state of Michigan, and as someone who traveled, moved about in the city of Detroit. These are the rules that have been established for reasons. And sometimes their underlying reasons are reasons that we all can see and understand clearly. Sometimes the reasons are not reasons that we really understand, but these are the rules that have been set into place. We have jurisdiction because you are a body, a person, an entity, a being that is located within the confines of the state of Michigan as of right now, who has done stuff within the state of Michigan in the city of Detroit. And that's why we have the opportunity to be able to do these things. All right. So well, Attorney Griffin, all right. I can't, Mr. Williams. I can't argue back and forth today with you. I've had an amazingly long docket this morning. So I told you, you can come back and we can have this discussion at 1:30, but I need to finish the rest of the people from this morning's docket before I continue to have these discussions. So I don't mind. We can do it at 1:30, but I got to finish my morning docket before we have all these philosophical discussions on why I have jurisdiction over you as a court. Okay. I told you, Mr. Williams, to come back at 1:30. My staff needs a break and I need a break as well.
Can I come in, or I gotta do the video?
You can do video. You want to have an in-court? Listen, if you want to have an in-court discussion about all of this, I want written, filed motions for all of this. I'm not going to have a philosophy discussion about why we have jurisdiction over you. So you need to file motions, the appropriate motions with the court that go with each one of the things that you're talking about that you want to happen. I'm going to repeat, I'm not going to dismiss them because you think I don't have jurisdiction. I'm not.
But
You have to show me why we don't have jurisdiction over you.
But Your Honor, you're supposed to be an unbiased arbiter. We're supposed to be in between.
That's right.
The prosecutor.
That's right.
The prosecutor need to explain how she got jurisdiction over me.
So you have, and their explanation comes when you file a motion. So you need to file a motion so that they can know what legal principles and arguments you're standing on so that they can properly respond to it. If you just say that you don't have jurisdiction, I'm going to tell them that as an officer of the court, we take judicial notice that if you were in the city of Detroit operating or doing any of these things, that's why they drew the ticket on you. But if there's a jurisdictional issue, you have to state a legal reasoning why and give the prosecutor's office time to respond to your legal, factual basis and reasoning as to why that happens. So I'm more than welcome. I'll set a hearing date to give you motion times to be able to do that, but you have to file a written motion as to why you believe legally they don't have jurisdiction over you.
But ain't that state duty? That's the reason why I'm here.
Duty of it. So I'm telling you, I take judicial notice that the ticket was written in the city of Detroit. So they have a legal reason and basis for giving you the ticket. You hear that? That's the first thing. So right. I'm already stating as an officer of the court that by receiving these tickets, they have a legal reason and jurisdiction over you. Right? But if you believe they don't.
If you run my name, you will see that I surrendered my state ID and I have a passport, right? I have no contracts with the Secretary of State whatsoever. So
you just have me with the United States of America, which is an even higher jurisdiction than us.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. So the SOS, I don't have no contracts with them. And if you run it,
just because you don't avail yourself of the formal process doesn't mean that you cannot be held to the standards and rules of the Secretary of State's office. That's not how this works. So you don't sever ties. That's not how it works. If you avail yourself to the rules, if you allow yourself to get into a vehicle and drive on the streets in the state of Michigan, in the city of Detroit, you have now automatically availed yourself to the laws, to the civil infractions, to the misdemeanors which lie within this state and the city bounds.
That's not what the Constitution says. And you took an oath.
I did. Right. I took lots of oaths too, just so you know. Mm-hmm. I done took all kinds of oaths to be an attorney, to be a judge, to be when I graduated from college, I'm sure I took some oaths. I've taken oaths. And that's why I can say with a straight face and a clear conscience that I am following the rules.
Once someone fully commits to a sovereign citizen worldview, every legal explanation can feel like proof that the system is hiding the truth. That makes changing direction emotionally difficult. In court, though, legal arguments succeed because they match established law, not because they reinforce personal beliefs.
Of the state of Michigan and the city of Detroit, when I say that they have the ability and the right to write tickets to people who travel, go upon the city streets of the city of Detroit, the state of Michigan, and to issue tickets to individuals. We deputize those individuals on the street. Now, whether or not it's true, that's another type of hearing. Whether or not these allegations are that have been alleged are true, that's not the hearing that I'm deciding today. Unless you want to take some type of offer. The only thing I'm deciding today is whether or not you want to move forward with some type of plea, or whether or not you want to move forward with a trial, or whether or not you want to move forward in that type of capacity and way. So, and you said that you don't believe that we have jurisdiction or that these tickets are not. So I'm telling you, if you don't believe it's jurisdiction, you have to file a written legal document that says why you don't believe that they have jurisdiction, and so that they can respond to it legally, like on a legal basis.
I'll do that.
Okay, so how much time do you need, Mr. Williams, to have the hearing? Because what they do is you'll submit your written stuff. They'll get time to be able to respond, and then you'll have a copy of that so that you can make sure that you can understand what's going on. So how much time do you need?
Give me to January. Can you give me January?
So what happened? come back on January 30th. That gives you 90 days. I need the motion filed before then, though. So I need the motion filed by January. On the record, recalling the matter of the people versus Timothy Williams and all his matters. Can I have your name for the record, sir?
Timothy Williams.
All right. And then, City, I'll make sure that also the attorney that's typically assigned knows this as well. I'll set it that it be, I'm trying to find the calendar for January, sorry. I don't know if it's on there. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna have a hearing in this matter. Let's do it on a Thursday. So let's do it February 1st, because I'm gonna need time. February 1st, 2024 is gonna be the actual hearing date though, but I'm gonna have you submit your motion no later than January the 12th. And then there needs to be a response from the people by January 26th. And we'll have the motion hearing on February the 1st.
Okay, Your Honor, I'm sorry. I was in another courtroom. This is the prosecutor, Dia Chiku Mason. So we're doing on Mr. Williams, Timothy Williams.
So he wants to file a motion. I told him if he wants to file a motion, it needs to be filed no later than January 12th. The people have the response needs to be by January 26th. And the hearing will be February 1st.
Very good, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, there's nothing further. That concludes this hearing for today.
Your Honor, am I able to come in or is it going to be
Are
Zoom?
you what?
Am I able to come in on this?
You can physically come in if you want to. You want to have it in person?
Yep.
Okay, in person on February the 1st, 2024, okay?
Yep.
All right. All right, that concludes this hearing. Bond will continue at $0 personal.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
These two hearings show the same pattern reaching two very different endings. In both cases, the defendants challenged the court's authority instead of addressing the legal issues that actually controlled the outcome. Arguments about jurisdiction, contracts, living man status, or refusing to recognize the court may sound decisive to someone who believes them, but the courtroom operates under established statutes, court rules, and procedure. That mismatch creates the real risk. One important lesson is that procedure often matters just as much as the underlying charge. Missing a required appearance, refusing to answer the court's direct questions, or relying on theories that have no legal effect can create additional problems that are far more serious than the original traffic violations. Every procedural decision either builds credibility or weakens it. The contrast is also revealing. When legal representation entered the process, the discussion shifted from ideology to negotiation. Instead of debating authority, attention moved toward resolving charges, limiting penalties, and closing the case. That change did not erase earlier consequences, but it showed how strategy can influence outcomes more effectively than confrontation. Courts are designed to evaluate evidence, statutes, and recognized legal arguments. When someone insists on a framework the court does not recognize, they usually lose opportunities to argue the issues that could actually affect the result. The consequence is rarely one dramatic mistake. It is the accumulation of small strategic decisions that steadily reduce available options. By the time the hearing ends, the biggest issue is no longer who believes they are right. It is which decisions leave the widest path forward, and which ones quietly close it.